Ashley, we would have done this earlier in the week, except, I decided to have another seizure.
Joel, God damn it.
I went so long without one. I thought, let's just verify. Let's make sure the medicines are necessary. They're necessary, just in case anybody's wondering.
Turns out your doctor had a really good idea about a treatment plan for you and did it.
Listen to your physicians, ladies and germs, theys and gays.
That's good advice, Joel. Maybe about medical issues, we should listen to medical professionals. I don't know why that's an important thing to say right now, but I feel like I should share that with the people.
It does feel pertinent to the moment, doesn't it?
Yeah. As someone that was raised by a nurse, like, shut your face and listen to the pros.
Yeah, if they don't have, a PhD or one of those similar degrees, maybe don't take their recommendations for what pills you should and shouldn't take.
And maybe if their PhD is in something completely unrelated, that doesn't really have anything to do with medicine.
Good point. I forget that there's FUDs in other things as well. That is an excellent point.
Like maybe if someone's got a PhD in theater, that's not going to be useful for you. Don't take medical advice from that person for fucking sure.
Ask them to be or not to be, perhaps.
Right.
But not to take or not to take, to lower or raise your dosage. Yeah. I lowered my dosage and I shouldn't have. I went to 1 pill a day because I thought, hey, you haven't had a seizure and it's probably just a sleep apnea thing. And that was stupid, guys. So I'm back on my pills. Don't worry about it. I'm fine. But
we're being supportive because he got his ass chewed out by Kelly.
It's been a weird week, y'all. It's been a weird week. Couple of things I wanted to discuss before we got into the topic at hand. We are in our topic episodes, by the way. We're in the strange lull of existence before we get to Talamasca proper at the end of October.
Can I be
which
real?
Is exciting.
I'm kind of enjoying this weird lull. Like, I really am kind of enjoying a book club break because I'm just doing all this pleasure reading right now, and it is good for my soul.
I am swallowing whole The Stand. I did like 3.5 hours yesterday, I think, or 4 maybe. And my goodness, like, what a book that is. And I know, I knew it's out. It's been out there all this time for me waiting,
Yeah, that's so great. You took the time to take the journey, but it's such a good trip. I love that book. I mean, it's my favorite book. I mean, real talk. That's my 100% favorite book. Yeah, without a doubt.
That is a book to choose, friend. That is a book to choose.
At least part of it, I read every year. I read at least a bit of it every year.
It literally contains legion, though. Like there are multiple stories for one thing, and then there are multiple arcs to each story as well. And the combination is very, very satisfying reading. I don't mind telling you that Mr. King, he can put a few words together.
Man,
I don't know if you've heard.
I'm currently listening to it. Which is, if you like that book and haven't listened to the audiobook, do yourself a fucking favor. It is so great. It's one of the best audiobooks I've ever listened to.
It's really, really good, no doubt about it. That one plays well in your ear. I think many of his do because they seem to be, it's interesting. His come from a very different place than Anne's do. I think Anne Rice's play great in audiobook as well because as a rule, they tend to be first-person narratives, right? They're
right.
From someone's perspective, and so you can hear it in the narrator's voice. Stevens, on the other hand, tend to be like these, world building, what's the word? Ensemble cast or whatever. Yeah. But they also all basically are fairy tales. Really, like when it comes down to it, right? They're just fairy tales.
Yeah.
And so having that great consistent voice share with you this yarn, I don't know, it harkens back to a storytelling tradition that is much older than I think the rest of these stories are. Anyway. Welcome to the Articulate Coven, the original, unofficial fan podcast and community for Anne Rice's Immortal universe, The Vampire Chronicles, Lives of the Mayfair Witches, and the Immortal Universe TV series from AMC and AMC+.
The Articulate Coven is Ashley and Joel, but it's supported by listeners just like you. Find out more at articulatecoven.com/join.
What are we talking about tonight, Ashley? We're talking about
Our
that
favorite
little Crescent
place,
city
Joel.
we love. Yeah.
Have we introduced ourselves?
We haven't. We are your hosts. I am Joel.
I'm Ashley.
And we are the Articulate Coven. Welcome to the Articulate Coven. It's the unofficial fan podcast and community for Anne Rice's Immortal universe, the Lives of the Mayfair Witches, the Vampire Chronicles, and especially the TV shows made by AMC and AMC Plus. We are really enjoying those. We've been, of course, covering Interview with the Vampire. We've covered the Mayfair show. And now we've got a new chance with Talamasca coming up soon.
And we are hopeful.
We're very hopeful. And I think rightfully so. Everything that we've seen so far has been interesting and compelling, and while different in places than the narrative that we know from the novels, interesting and compelling in a way that Mayfair was not, at least. And I've got more hope for Talamasca for sure.
Yeah.
We've got some news on that front, though, by the way, Ashley. 2 episodes for the premiere.
Because we've been such good boys and girls.
Okay, the only thing that kind of bums me out is, I mean, we're going to race through this series. There's only 6 episodes of season 1. And if we get 2 week 1, that means we're going to have 4 weeks following and then no new show until...
And then it's done.
Until when? Who knows? How long will they make us wait until they give us a date for the Vampire Lestat? That's the other question that's out there. I don't know.
Because we hear April, but we haven't heard anything official. The April rumblings have been unofficial.
And I think that they won't give us a date until they are absolutely done with production. Right?
No,
they
and
won't,
that's smart.
They won't put themselves under the gun.
Because anything could happen. My God, anything could happen.
A little word on those fronts, by the way. Let me skip over here to the YouTube channel. Okay, somebody commented on our San Diego Comic-Con panel. We finally got to react to the Interview with the Vampire, nay, the Vampire Lestat panel at San Diego Comic-Con. Emma Garden, 6924 says, I swear there's going to be a live performance at the Celebration of Life. Sam's been hinting at a live performance, and apparently the crew are due in New Orleans after Toronto wraps. Okay, this is about the third or fourth person.
That said that about New Orleans.
And I saw one the other day on Threads that isn't even in our audience, I don't think. That was just somebody else commenting about the show. But the word is that some of the crew, at least, if not most, are headed to New Orleans immediately after wrapping in Toronto, which is going to be about the same time that we're down there.
Okay,
I don't know nothing about nothing, y'all.
We don't know anything about anything, but y'all do not think that we are not going to be fucking detectives while we're down there.
I'm just saying, if they wanted to make me happy, if they wanted to make it the best trip forever, I love you the mostest.
I mean, my God, how could we ever beat this trip if that happens?
Yeah. Okay, a couple of other comments on that same video. We had some great reactions there, and I appreciate everybody that's been talking about this.
Yes.
Shayna Punham says, from a clip somebody filmed at the panel. Okay. There was a moment in the San Diego Comic-Con panel that we watched from AMC where Rollin is beginning to talk about casting, and then it cuts ahead. There's a few moments cut out. And we assumed that he just ran down the list of the announced casting that we had heard about, and that was it. Apparently that is not the case. Somebody filmed this clip from the panel. The actor who Rollins said was cast, but the ink wasn't dry. So right when he comes back, they said something about the ink not being dry, and we thought that was probably about Jennifer Ely. That was not Jennifer Ely. That was an Akasha. He says the deal is done, but the ink wasn't dry yet. And that's the reason, the main reason why they couldn't talk about Akasha, and they haven't announced her yet, is because it wasn't done in fact. It's done in theory, it's not done in fact.
Probably by now it's done.
You would hope so. Jennifer Ely and the rest of the cast had all been announced in that little section that got cut out as well. Also, Jacob mouthed in regards to Akasha, she's really good. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I stand by the only reason to make the announcement in this way, where you hold it out and it's going to be a surprise, is if it's a name and a personality that we're going
We're
to
gonna be
respond with a little, yeah,
woo.
oh my, yes. So this is going to be somebody we know. I feel confident. This is not going to be, you know, an
An obscure.
amazing but obscure theater actor,
Mhm.
i.e., a Ben Daniel. Um,
Oh, what
okay.
a treat he was, though. My God.
Right? All right.
Oh,
Limo4949 says, actually, you guys are saying Eric's name correctly for the American pronunciation. So the the moderator came out and said
Bogosian.
Bogosian. Yes, I think is how
Bogosian.
they said it. Okay. Damien got it wrong there on the panel. We're doing it right for the American pronunciation. Though, to be fair, we're both wrong in terms of the original Armenian pronunciation. Lol.
Excellent. Well, good to know. Good to
Yeah.
know. Look, we're
Right.
always going to assume that we mispronounced something. If somebody else is pronouncing it differently, we're like, oh, whoops. We've been saying that wrong for 30 years.
Rural youth with a big book reading
Yep.
library, but you know, our neighborhood was not using that vocabulary.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely not
all
our
right.
classmates.
Okay. Also from
Oh,
that,
I don't know if you can hear my dogs. I apologize.
Poochie Poo going a little
Yeah.
crazy out
They're
there.
going a little wild in the background.
Psychedelic Pegasus 7587 says, at 3750 in on this video, when Sam points out someone in the audience and both Jacob and Sam wave, I think that's YouTuber Autumn Bottom Brown. Their little waves and grins are so cute. And I commented on this, and I'll say it here. The fact that so many of these YouTubers are recognized by Sam and Jacob, and I am not among them, I don't believe they would recognize me.
Makes us
Joel
a
has
little
a
sad.
sad. Joel is very petty, just so you all
No,
know.
we're a little jealous. Like, let's not lie. The little green monster of envy is there.
Okay, and I think that's about it for the comments. Yeah, all right. So let's get to the topic at hand tonight, Ashley. This episode should not be a incredibly lengthy one because we're just going to tell a little bit about the city that we love so much. A lot of y'all are going to visit it.
I'm
Um,
so excited, guys.
I am too. It is, I know, a weird time, and I want to say again here, for those of you who have decided for monetary reasons and world reasons and political
Oof,
reasons,
whatever reasons.
safety reasons, yeah, that this trip ain't for you. We understand and appreciate. We're going to do our best to share with you the experience of being there, and you know, put all of this on your list to do when the world is a little more sane once again.
Yes. Yes.
Ashley, what was your first trip to New Orleans that you can remember? When did
Oh
you
my.
start going?
So probably, I was probably around 12 or 13, I think, when we started going. And we started going down, the first trip we ever took was to go to a football game. Because we were all huge Saints fans. My dad raised us Saints fans. So we went down for a football game. And I think our very first trip was the time we stayed at the Montleon on
Nice.
Royal Street. And it was so beautiful and so nice. And it was like dad did good at the track that week, obviously, you know. So we went down and we wandered around the quarter. We went to Bourbon Street, of course, you know, like even though it's a shit show. And yeah, we
Especially
had,
back then.
especially back then, the Saints were terrible. They were the worst team. At a game, I got a beer thrown on me at a game when I was like 13 or 14, just it was another fan just disgusted, and it just splashed all over me. It was like such a fucking New Orleans thing to happen. But yeah, so that was like our first trip, and so we would have these little traditions because we were always going to a game. We would go to Johnny's Po' Boys, and get a full po' boy and then take it back to the room, eat half of it before the game, and then we go to the game and come back and eat the other half. That was kind of our, like, one of our traditions that we did every time.
That's awesome. I didn't get to go to a sporting event in New Orleans until I lived there, I guess. I'm trying to think if that's true.
Well, I didn't have
My
good tickets to a sporting event until like 5 years ago, so
My aunt Anne, who we've talked about on the show a lot before, she took me to my first professional sporting events, but they were all in Houston. She didn't take
Yeah.
me to an event in New Orleans, a sporting event in New Orleans anyway, until I actually took her. I was living down there and I
Oh,
had a
fun.
volunteer gig and I took her to a playoff game with me. My first memory of the city was we would go to visit my aunt in Baton Rouge, and then we would go down to visit her friend Gwen in New Orleans. And Gwen lived, at one point, she lived, I think she had an apartment in the quarter even, but primarily she had her father owned a house and then she owned it when he became sick and then after he passed out in Metairie, which eventually got
Mm-hmm.
flooded in Katrina when the levee broke. Like the levee broke right down the street from her house.
Ugh,
Um
what a
or
fucking nightmare.
one of the breaks did. Uh anyway, the two of them though, she owned a bar at one point in the quarter and
Oh,
she
awesome.
had run a bar at different times. And so like she knew all of the service industry in the city basically. And so she knew all the places to go and would get us into like cool places to eat and cool places to go and cool places to visit, whatever. But specifically, I remember when when Planet Hollywood opened, um in New Orleans, they got me in like the first week and a half that it was open, I guess, and we went for dinner, which was ridiculous because I don't even really like restaurant food. I've talked about this on the show before. I'm like a picky eater. So
You're
I
like,
didn't even enjoy my burger that I got there. But they ate and it was fine. And I got to like ooh and ah over all of these movie props. There weren't any celebrities that we saw in the restaurant when we were there. But at various times though, I have personally seen both of the Sutherlands, Donald and Kiefer.
love Kiefer.
Yeah, and I saw Jean-Claude Van Damme once in the quarter, and John Goodman. My
Him.
Anne had a really negative interaction once with Jean-Claude Van Damme. He was
Well,
very
he's an
overserved
asshole.
very overserved and making passes at random women as they walk by.
Ew.
But on the other hand, though, she's had some great interactions with John Goodman where it's like he was feeling his oats, I guess, and dropping some money at the bar kind of
Woo,
thing, you know?
yes, John Goodman. We are here
Yeah.
for that.
So it was always like glamorous and
Mm-hmm.
adult in a way that the rest of the state was not, and yet also accessible
Yeah.
and with guardrails. Like I don't know, it felt sort of like a thrill ride, right? Like going to the county fair. Like,
Yeah.
yes, the tilt-a-whirl might make you vomit, but also you knew the guy who put it together and it was all going to be fine. That's the way
Right.
that New Orleans felt to me, right? As a
Yeah, well,
kid.
and I was always down there with my family. Like for I mean, my first many trips to New Orleans were not like rager party trips. You know what I mean? Like I
Right.
was with my on family vacations, which I know that that's not a place a lot of people think is like a great place to go for a family vacation. It's fucking awesome. There's so much to do in the city. There's so many things that are so kid friendly and cool. Now, I was not a normal kid. I got to do a lot of not kid friendly things, you know, but like but it is still like a great place to take your kids. And when you know your way around and you have a good head about you, it's not unsafe. Have a very good time there and be very safe. You know what I mean? I think that the city gets a bad rap on a lot of levels, but it's like any other place, you know, you need to know where you are. You don't go down dark alleys at night by yourself. That's just stupid. You know, you just act like you belong there and you will belong there.
Yes, that's it exactly. That's it exactly. Uh, so when we were in college, I guess actually it might have been after you had already graduated, but the New Orleans got they were the Hornets at the time from
Mhm.
Charlotte.
Yeah.
We got a basketball team for the first professional basketball team for the first time since the Jazz had left to go to Utah. Do you need to go check on them real quick, by
Yeah,
the way?
I will. Let me go. I gotta go close that window. They're just acting nuts. Give me 1 second.
Cool. Yeah.
Not my dogs being just like children. I go out there. Gomez, who's my little hound mix, is like roofing and roaring at the window. Maggie is sitting on the couch with the most. He's barking at nothing now. I closed the window. She's sitting on the couch like, I don't know why he's acting like this.
Why ever would he have this attitude?
No, actually, Maggie's voice is like this. She has this voice. So she's like, I don't know what's wrong with him. He is really weird right now.
Yeah. So I was in college. I was at Louisiana Tech when the Pelicans came to New Orleans, and the local cable company did the thing where basically every game was broadcast, right? You could watch them all.
Yeah, that's cool.
And the first couple of years I just did. I would record them when I wasn't around, and I'd watch them in high speed or whatever. And so I was like intimately familiar with that team and fell like deeply in love with the Pelicans. Well, I say the Pelicans. They became the Pelicans eventually. When I was living in New Orleans, they changed, I think, or maybe even after we had moved up here. Anyway, while we were living in New Orleans, my first wife and I, my son's mother, she graduated Louisiana Tech after we got married with a French degree. And when she was done, we moved to New Orleans. She wanted to get out of here and go somewhere else for a while. And that was like the right place to go.
Yeah.
So I worked in rehab, actually, like rebuilding after Hurricane Katrina. I technically worked for the North American Mission Board, which is the Southern Baptist Convention. I was literally in the middle of the interview, Ashley, and they asked for my testimony. And I was like, oh, I've made a terrible mistake.
Well, I would be like, I don't have one.
I just greased them wheels
Yeah.
and got that job. I'd been down there like a week and a half at that point and hadn't, my resume that I had printed and I had been given out to everybody had the wrong phone number printed on it. And so everyone was getting, anybody that maybe tried to call me and hire me, they were not reaching me.
No,
anyway,
they were not.
It worked out for the best. It was fine. I got this gig. It was a good gig. I worked at the World Trade Center downtown at first for like 6 months, 9 months maybe. And then we moved out to Violet, Louisiana, which is way out in the middle of nowhere, out in St. Bernard Parish. It's out past, Violet is past Chalmette.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's way out in the middle of the bayou.
Yeah, that's in the swamp.
We lived in Jefferson Parish the whole time pretty much that I was working there. And so I lived like in River Ridge, which is to the west of the city, technically, by the compass anyway. New Orleans is weird because of the river, right?
I mean, you go where the river goes. That's how it goes.
But I would drive across the city and then out to St. Bernard Parish to go to work every day. And so it was like, I don't know, like an hour and 15 minutes in the morning and then an hour and 45 minutes or 2 hours in the evening, depending upon when I left. It was just insane. So I started listening to podcasts. It's the reason why you have this podcast, honestly, probably is because I started listening to a massive amount of shows then.
Yeah, you were the first person I know, I think, that was listening to podcasts. I think you and my brother were probably the first two people I knew that like were like, podcasts, this is a thing.
I had big opinions and had good contacts with a lot of people even before I started doing a show myself. And then when my first wife and I split up, we moved back up to North Louisiana. I got back into the radio business, and those two things came together. Literally, my now wife Kelly was talking to me. I was standing at the computer one day and she was like, I was telling her about a podcast I'd listened to that day. She said, why don't you have a podcast? And I tried to answer her like 3 times, the first 3 things that came to mind. I was like, well, that's not true. No, that's not true either. I don't know. I don't know why I don't have a podcast, actually.
I don't have a good reason.
So within a week I had one, and then all of this stuff came from it. But when I was living in New Orleans, though, and driving back and forth across the city, I got to see it all like up close and personal. And we experienced a lot of it with kids, like we had Judah 7 months maybe after we had gotten there, 6 months after we got there. And then we had Remy 16 months after we had Judah. So, we did a lot of the city with little kids. And I thought we would talk a little bit about some of our favorite places, just generally. I want to talk about Oak Street first and foremost.
Okay.
Okay, so we lived in River Ridge, and you could jump on the river road and go all the way into the city without like going through the main thoroughfare. You'd go around by Audubon Park, and then it'd
That's
dump you
so
out.
pretty.
Yeah, it's literally, it was
I
lovely.
mean,
That whole little drive was a
it's
lovely
gorgeous.
ride. Yes. But also that made it incredibly convenient for us to go to like the Audubon Zoo and Audubon Park. We'd go to Audubon Park all the time with the kids. And the area around Oak Street is also like it's called Riverside, not Riverside. What is that area called?
I don't know. I'm really bad with the neighborhoods. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know
with the
where I
little
am.
neighborhood names.
Yeah.
Anyway, Oak Street is the home of, among other things, the Po' Boy Festival. But it's like that's where Giacomo's is.
Yeah.
There's the Maple Leaf, which is the bar where you can see Rebirth Brass Band like every Tuesday night, basically. There are a lot of little lovely mom and pop shops that have come and gone again right there on Oak Street. I think Oak Street was the first place where Flirty Girl was. Like she was selling out of
She lived
out
on
of the front of
out of
her.
her house, out of her that's such a cute shop. I love Flirty Girl.
Yeah. So anyway, it is a great little area. They have, I think, at least 2 or 3 different festivals that happen there throughout the year. And I know there's one in the fall that happens on Oak Street or around Oak Street. So like, it's definitely a place to make some time. But there's good music, there's good food, there's a great little ice cream parlor there too. There's a good coffee shop right off of Oak Street. Yeah. Anyway, and it's just different. It feels like the place where you live. Whereas
Yeah.
like in the quarter, that is not always the experience, right? You're walking
Yeah.
around there and you feel like you're on vacation.
Yeah.
Oak Street feels like you live there.
Yeah, 100%. Like that, and that so much of the city is that way because so much of it is, I mean, is just fucking people living there, you know? Like you get out of the quarter
Yes.
and you're in people's neighborhoods. I mean, in the quarter you're in people's neighborhood. Like let's be real, that's
Yeah.
how that's supposed to be and how it is, you know, and they're working very hard to get it back to that, you know.
Yeah.
So but it's different parts of the city feel like totally different worlds, you know, and that area is so gorgeous. Audubon Zoo is one of my favorite places. I love that zoo so much. It's so beautiful. That park is gorgeous. Probably if you've ever seen any cute your friends did engagement photos in New Orleans on a pretty tree, they probably were in Audubon Park. It's just absolutely beautiful. And you can take a streetcar right down there.
Audubon Park and City Park,
Yeah, City
opposite
Park's
ends of
great.
the city, but both of them are free to go to. You can wander
Mhm.
around in them. They've got lovely walking trails. They've got lovely
Yes.
scenic places to take photos and stuff. City Park has the sculpture garden that you can walk through.
It's really beautiful.
Um, yeah, it's also got a Cafe Du Monde in the middle of it. And City Park's got the what do they call it? Storyville. But then there is Storyville is the little kids area. There is an actual like amusement park as well.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
I can't remember the name of it now. We did that with my kids the last time we were in the city. Uh, anyway, that's all in City Park up by the top of the city. And
Mhm.
then Audubon Park is down by the river. And
Ugh.
you've got like, I don't know. Okay. The big stone gazebo thing that Claudia attacks the police officer in,
Right.
in episode whatever that is, like 3 or 4 of Interview with the Vampire, that's in City Park. But also, it's the place where Benjamin Button and his woman friend do the ballets where she dances for him or whatever. That's in City Park.
Lovely.
Um, yeah, it's really, really like if you've seen a movie set in New
Right.
Orleans, they've shot in City Park, or excuse me, they've shot in Audubon Park at some point. And they might have shot some of it in City Park too. But both of those really are worth your time, and they're absolutely free to visit, other than maybe the streetcar ride to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're staying in the quarter, we took a one time when I was down there, like, we had brunch with Bridget and then our buddy Bridget that's from down there, and we had brunch with her, and then we got a little a little mimosa. She dropped us off at the zoo. We wandered around the zoo, had a great day, and then took the streetcar back up. It was so much fun. It's a great way to see. Streetcar is a great way to see the city too. It's cheap as hell, and it's just a really, we park our car when we get there, and we generally do not touch our car. Like that's just how we roll there. That's in general how we are. So we just like walk and take streetcars everywhere we want to go.
That's the way to go if you can at
Yeah.
all. Absolutely. All right, let's talk about some of your favorite restaurants, Ashley. My list is very short. It's Cafe Beignet.
Yes, you love Cafe
It's
Beignet.
pretty much the end of my list.
Is that yours? Really? Joel.
Just don't like
Food?
I really don't like. I'm an incredibly picky eater, and none of it comes from Cajun inspired or Creole inspired cooking, really. So I'm
going to be eating delicious things while we're in New Orleans. Joel's going to be having
You
chicken
and Kelly
tendies and fries.
living it up. I'm such a cheap date. I really, really am.
That's hilarious. Okay, so
tell me some of the good places to eat.
So now we generally stay in the Quarter when we go down. We like the Quarter. The first thing we do, we check into our hotel. We walk down to the river. Like that's literally the first thing we do every time we go. We walk right down to the river, breathe in that beautiful Mississippi River air, and stand there. Maybe smoke a little, hang out, have a nice time, watch the city go by in the other direction. And then we start our shenanigans. But so we had a really good meal one time at a place called Evangeline in the Quarter. It is amazing. Not like super, super upscale, but like a nice restaurant, we had our anniversary dinner there one time. Fucking delicious food. I love Coop's Place. They have the best fried chicken I've had that I did not cook myself. Their fried chicken is incredible. That's kind of we tend to find local spots. Even in the Quarter, we try to find we're not going to hit a chain, we're not going to
right.
So we're trying to find cool little spots. We talk to bartenders and things like that all the time, and try to get good, fun ideas of places to go. Rose Sinister mentioned Verdi Mart. Holy shit. We got po' boys from there the last time we were down there, and we also got some hot food from them. So they have a lunch counter basically at the back of the place. So we were there really late at night. So they're open 24 hours, I'm pretty sure. And we wanted something delicious. It was we were down there the same, one of the weekends of Jazz Fest. So there was a ton of people. We got into that place right before Jazz Fest let out.
Nice.
And I was like, she's going to get real annoyed with all these drunk people hanging out in here. It's small space. It's kind of one of those places you're you need to go in and order your food and know where you're supposed to stand kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. So, but we had a really good fried shrimp po' boy from there. And Brett got some chicken Parmesan that was off the fucking chain. It was so good. Now we were a little drinky and it was, 1 a.m. So I can't really speak to whatever, but it was fucking delicious. Another spot I really like, and it's kind of a touristy spot, and not a lot of people really consider it the best spot, but it's just a nostalgic thing for me, is Johnny's po' boys. They're delicious. They also have a really good breakfast there, like biscuit sandwiches and shit. They're delicious, yummy. But that's where we would always get our po' boys before the football games. So that's another favorite spot of mine.
You will be amazed. You'll be amazed at how many places have a great breakfast. And they don't it's not a big deal, but just if you get there before noon, you can have an amazing breakfast at that place too.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, one of the best bites of food I've ever had in my life, it brought tears to my eyes. And I was really sad that I would never get to taste it for the first time again. Was in New Orleans, and it's in another kind of a touristy spot, but goddamn, I don't give a shit. The food is so good. It's the Gumbo Shop. Their gumbo is amazing. And I had it one day when, I don't know, it was just really special. They had really pushed that roux to the brink, it was just, it was just so full of the best flavor. It was incredible. And they have a barbecue shrimp appetizer there that they serve with French bread, and it's just one of the best bites of food you could have.
I wanted to mention two things in particular in general about the city, especially if you're not going to be able to go for Anne's celebration of life when we're going to be there. Um, French Quarter Festival. So everybody
Mm,
knows about Jazz Fest, but
yeah.
the Jazz Fest tickets are, first of all, very exclusive, and second of
Hmm.
all, very expensive.
Yeah.
Now it's totally reasonable for the amount of talent that you're getting and
Look,
the level of name that you're getting and the length that they're going to play and the kinds of experiences, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, great, spend your money. But French Quarter Fest is, to my experience, what Jazz Fest was like 25 years ago
right
before it kind
before
of
it got
blew up.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, it's absolutely free. It's free. It just happens downtown, and all you got to be is present to be
Is
there.
there.
Yeah.
There's so many. I love that about New Orleans though too. Like when you're wandering around the city, you'll just wander into shit and not. I mean, have no idea what's happening. It's just
Always
like
something going
all the
on.
time.
Yeah.
Like you'll wander into it like through, and now somebody's having a fucking parade. What the hell's happening? It's just
So
the best.
2026, for instance, is April 16th through the 19th, a French Quarter Fest this next year. And it literally is, there will be multiple stages set up all along the river. There'll be vendor booths. You can get all sorts of food and arts and crafts and merchandise and stuff like that. But literally, you can hear jazz music and rock music and local blues and national groups and everything in between. I mean, we saw Irma Thomas, Rebirth Brass Band, and Alabama Shakes, I think, all within like a 45-minute period on 3
Damn.
stages in one, like for free. For
Yeah,
free.
for free,
Yeah. Anyway,
just because the city loves you.
very, very cool thing. And that's absolutely something that I would build a trip around if I were
Yeah.
you, is the French Quarter Festival.
Yeah, we end up there at the end of April a lot because our schedule was dictated by Brett's work schedule for the longest time, but also my birthday is around the end of April, and I turned 40 in New Orleans, which was really very fun. I turned 40 sitting in Lafitte's bar on turned 40 years old drinking a vodka and soda with lime.
Turn 40 where it's timeless. That
Yeah.
feels good to me.
Exactly. We got engaged there too. Brett and I got engaged in New Orleans. I've had a lot of
That's cool.
special occasions there.
So something that I have not personally been to, and I don't know whether you've ever been yourself or not, but I did want to mention it since we're talking about the city, because it's probably the biggest museum in the city. The National World War II Museum
Yeah,
is in
I'm
New
going
Orleans.
this trip. We're going this
Are
trip.
you?
Yeah,
Excellent,
it's on
excellent.
we're planning to go this trip. I've never been. And I really, really want to. I've been reading up on it, and we're very excited to hit that this trip. We're definitely doing that.
It's a Smithsonian group museum. It has very, very high level of displays and like
Yeah.
incredible production values throughout the museum. I heard nothing but amazing things about it. And among the many other things that we've already talked about, probably you can find at least one episode on that in Beyond Bourbon Street, the
Ooh,
podcast that I
excellent.
edit about New Orleans too. So go check that out. All of these topics probably have a full episode on Beyond Bourbon Street. I just can't recommend that show enough, by the way, because it tends to be about 40 minutes an episode, and he really gets to break down the subject with either the person responsible or the main point person that's
I love
currently,
that.
running that event. Yeah.
That's
Very, very cool
fantastic.
stuff.
Yeah. We're staying very close to Lafitte's this time. That's one of my favorite bars in New Orleans. It's one of the oldest bars in North America.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's since the 1600s.
Yeah,
I think it's been in continuous
so
use.
fucking cool. I love it. I love it. It's one of my favorite spots.
The only other thing, as far as like big areas that I think people overlook sometimes that you should totally make a point to spend some time, is Frenchman Street.
Oh yeah.
Again, sort of like Oak Street. You're gonna find a lot of places for live music there. Frenchman Street was the place where Richard and I, our mutual friend from college, Richard Bennett, and I we'd take a taxi out there. We'd get dropped off at one end and like wander down, having a drink in each place.
I spent Halloween on Frenchman one year with Bridget. It was really fun.
it's delightful. Like, and again, it's like there's music everywhere. As long as don't go alone, pay attention to your surroundings. Don't get yourself cornered off into a scenario where you're gonna be accosted.
I like to
And you
carry
should
the
be fine.
least amount of shit possible. Like, I don't like to carry bags
Not
if
a
I can
target if you don't
help
got stuff
it.
to get stolen.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So like I don't carry like a nice purse when I'm down there. I like, like you can tie your car keys into your shoelaces if you need to, like come on. Like just like the least amount of shit you can have on you makes you very very undesirable.
That is a very, very good way to look at it. In fact,
Also, I make Brett carry my shit a lot. I'm like, here, put this in your wallet.
we've mentioned already previously, but I want to bring it up here again in case you haven't heard it or you didn't let it sink in. Get yourself the Jazzy Pass. There's
Yeah.
an app that you can download for the New Orleans RTA. You can buy a Jazzy Pass for a single day or multiple days that allows you to access every bus, every streetcar, and that way you can get in and around the city pretty easily,
Yeah.
all for one cost.
And the thing is, too, is like, as in Rice Bands, you're going to want to go down to the Garden District probably. Like, and it's so beautiful. It's so worth a jaunt over there and a walk through. It is absolutely gorgeous. If you like antiques, Magazine Street's a really fun spot to hit, and Royal on the other end of Royal out of the quarter. There's just a lot of really cool spots. That are worth it to kind of like, if you can hop on a streetcar, hop on a bus and get a little farther out, it's worth the effort.
Absolutely. And I mean, we only vaguely touched on it, but there's the Audubon Zoo, there's the Audubon Aquarium,
Y'all, and that
and the
aquarium
Insectarium.
fucking rules.
Have you been since they put the Insectarium in the same building? So they combined the two. Yeah, they redid that whole building. The aquarium's on this end and the Insectarium's on the other end now.
See, I might have to go again.
You can do both in an afternoon, like 3 hours. You could do both areas at
and
least.
Guys, if it gets hot or rainy or something, like that's a great place to go. It's all, and it's indoors. You fucking look at some cool creatures and have a good time. It's very, very fun.
And that's one of those bundle prices too, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can pay one price and get the zoo ticket and the Insectarium and the aquarium ticket.
And the aquarium,
and yet
all.
You can go to those at different times, right? You can go to the aquarium now and the Insectarium later and then the zoo tomorrow or whatever. So
and if you're
very, very cool.
That's a lot of bang for your buck too with that. It's very, very cool. Like, it does seem a little expensive, but it's incredible. Very worth it. I want to talk about the Museum of Death.
Oh yes, you mentioned it in the last episode. I think our last recording we talked about it a little bit. But tell us what this is about. First of all, where is it located?
It's in the Quarter, so it's like pretty near the Mont-Leon. It's like, I don't know what street it's on. Let me look. Museum of Death. All the things that I Google. It is on, it's $20 to go. Let's see. What is the damn address? Why are addresses so hard to find? More info. It is on Dauphine Street. It's like right at Dauphine and Bienville. It's just a block up Bourbon. A block up from Bourbon.
Nice.
So it's a lot. And I'm not going to say that it's for everyone. It's not for everyone. I'm a weirdo and I'm like really dark, creepy, weird shit. So I was like, yeah, I want to go to the Museum of Death. Let's roll. So
graphic car accident photos. Ashley.
Yeah, that was a lot for Ashley. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm not a faces of death kind of gal. That's not what I'm into. But like, yeah, so there's some stuff in there that was a lot even for me. And I like, I've been looking at crime scene photos since I was like 13. Right. I'm just like a fucking weird, gross person. I can't help it. I have so much empathy though, thank God. That keeps me from being a monster, I guess. Yeah, so there's a section that I found very interesting that was like all about serial killers. That was really, really interesting. They have one of Jack Kevorkian's early suicide machines.
Oh my gosh.
They have like a bunch of like old what was it? When you put the hole in the brain and the
what is that called?
lobotomy.
Lobotomy.
They've got some
I kept
like
thinking
cool, like,
embolism. I'm like, that's not it. That's not the
it.
thing.
They have like lobotomy sets. There's a lot of like antique medical stuff in there too. That's really, really interesting. I mean, there are some crime scene photos. There's some real intense crime scene photos, particularly of the Nicole Brown Simpson crime scene that I had not seen before, and I've seen most of those. I was like, whoa! So it's a lot. But if you're interested in like serial killer shit and like creepy stuff, and if you're medically interested in like in end of life stuff, if death interests you, like, it is worth a trip. It really is. It's not anywhere I go every time I go down there. Like, I don't know that I need to pop in again anytime soon, but it's interesting. It's very interesting.
So along those same lines, and I don't know if we've mentioned this before, New Orleans also has a pharmacy museum.
Oh, yes, it's
New Orleans
very cool.
Yeah, this was one of the oldest pharmacies in America, actually, or in the United States anyway. But it's $10 general admission for adults. There's a $20 guided tour if you're interested in it. But it is pretty cool. And again, if you're interested in like, okay, the part of the Museum of Death is like ancient mortuary
Like old mortuary
implements and
stuff.
things like that,
Yeah.
right? Yes. So the pharmacy museum will coincide with some of those ideas too.
If you have
gotta think
crossover
about,
interests, yeah.
Yeah, this is back when like the barber was also bloodletting, right?
Yes, absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
anyway,
There's
I
also
do
a
think
really cool on Royal Street. There's a really cool, if you like Brett and I are so into swords, like we're such sword geeks. There's a really cool, it's like a coin and weaponry shop on Royal, and we usually pop in there every time we go in just to kind of check things out. There's really neat
know
shit
the
in
one
there.
you're talking about.
Yeah, I think it's
I've
right
got to
near.
look it up.
It's right near your beignet spot, Cafe
Yes,
Beignet.
it is. LCR coin, I think maybe is
It's
the one
so
you're talking
cool
about.
that we literally pop in every time we
know.
go. Look,
Yeah,
I don't give a shit if it's touristy or not. I'm gonna have a few giant daiquiris. Like, let's talk. I'm going to Pat O'Brien's. What I'm doing at Pat O'Brien's is not sitting on the patio, however. I like to
No.
go into the dark, dark sports bar side of Pat O'Brien's where no one else goes. And you can sit in the dark at the bar. There's always a seat. It's always cold as fuck in there. They gave me control of the jukebox for my birthday. We spent hours in there with them hanging out with those bartenders. It was so much fucking fun. Like,
That's adorable.
yeah. It was a very good time. And I'm definitely going to drink that. Like, I don't give a shit if it's touristy. I like some touristy shit. It's fine. Enjoy what you like.
Yeah, there's nothing. Listen, find your frosted beverage of choice and stay a little floating inebriation for the duration of your trip. I think
can't recommend the purple drink. The purple drink at Lafitte's enough. It packs a punch. They also have cherry bombs there, which they soak maraschino cherries in, like, I don't know, actual gasoline. But they're a delicious little bite of like horror if you want to get in on that.
So, Ashley, obviously, our impression of the city is colored by our time spent there, but I think everybody's impression of New Orleans is colored by its presence in pop culture. Our shows, obviously, Mayfair Witches and Interview with the Vampire, have both spent some time there. We've covered the original 1994 Interview with the Vampire film, which, of course, was shot there, or parts of it anyway. What other movies, though, do you think of when you think of the city? I want to mention one off the top, because if you haven't seen this movie, I cannot recommend it enough. Love Song for Bobby Long. It is based on a novel. John Travolta plays the titular Bobby Long. What's her name? Scarlett Johansson's in it as well. She's great. It's based on a novel, but it is the story of a aged Southern professor who has retired in scandal to the city of New Orleans and is living this vagabond
Right
lifestyle,
on.
and the crew that he finds himself aligned with, it smells like the city, though. It
I love it.
feels like the city, and it shows you some nooks and crannies and some corner bars that you otherwise might not ever see. So can't
Right.
recommend that one enough.
One of mine is JFK.
Ooh, yeah, you forget that that's all taking place in New Orleans, or
Well,
the vast majority of it is
You
anyway.
forget that, except for the fact that Ashley dragged her family on a JFK tour of New Orleans. I'm like, we're going to Camp Street. Come on, kids. Like, we know I have special interests and obsessions, and the
You don't say.
JFK assassination just happens to be one of them. And I remember watching that movie and being like completely obsessed with knowing where things were in the city, like being able to, like, I had been to New Orleans, so I knew where some of these places were. And that was so exciting to me. It was the same sort of feeling you had. Like, I had already read Interview with a Vampire when I went to New Orleans for the first time. So I'm walking through the city looking for where they lived on Royal. Like I'm walking through the city, like wondering, like, would Claudia sit in that attic window and be writing in a diary? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so I just, like, it was really cool to like see places I'd been, like the city hall there. That's like such a hugely recognizable building. And like the courthouse and everything. And then just like I knew where those streets intersected, I was like, oh yeah, this is fucking awesome. So yeah, JFK is a big one for me.
For those who are not intimately familiar with that case, the court case at the center of the film JFK is brought by the district attorney of New Orleans.
Like, it's the only criminal case that's ever been brought regarding the JF Kennedy assassination.
That is crazy to think about in retrespect. That was the only one, but
because Oswald was assassinated himself by Jack Ruby.
Yeah. I mean, and that district attorney basically ended up kind of like in scandal afterwards, right? Because it didn't go right for him.
No, here's what's interesting though, just in case anyone's curious. There have been a lot of documents and redacted documents released recently regarding the Kennedy assassination, and a couple of those characters that were on Jim Garrison's radar are openly in those files.
Well. Look at that.
But it doesn't prove their relationships with each other. It proves that they were like on the fucking FBI's radar, or the CIA's radar, but it doesn't prove that they had connections to each other, which is really where Garrison got in trouble. Like, I mean, he was like, these people are up to some fishy shit, and he was totally right, but he couldn't prove that they were hanging out together, doing fishy shit together, is pretty much what it comes down to.
The nature of the fishy shit was not
and the guy that he brought the case against was this very prominent New Orleans businessman too, so it was just like he was basically outing him at the same time, and messy.
Right. There's another one that I think people tend to forget about. There's a movie called The Big Easy from 1986. Dennis Quaid and Ellen Barkin.
Yeah, hot Ellen Barkin. Whew.
Yeah. That's a real good one. There's a lot of great sexy movies in New Orleans, but that was one. They filmed
like Benji 2 down there too. Like I was hanging out. We were downtown, and like a street was closed. I was like, "What's going on?" And there was a fucking dog running through, and someone was like, "Oh, they're filming a Benji movie." I was like, so it's not always about New Orleans. It's just that for a while it was very cheap to film there because of all the tax subsidies.
Such a brief period of time. Louisiana appreciated what we had, and then we lost it. Same thing happened to Georgia, though, right? Like everybody was shooting everything in Atlanta, and then the legislature turned that off too. Nobody likes a gravy train, apparently.
Yeah.
Regardless of the gravy train or no, we may see some of our intrepid crew wandering the streets of New Orleans in the next few weeks while we're all down there. if you're not going to be able to make the trip with us, do know that you will be there in spirit. We're going to be filming as much as we can. We're going to be sharing a lot of our experiences while we're hanging out and enjoying ourselves. And you'll have all sorts of fun stuff to do the next time that you do get to make it to the city.
I may just like pop on live occasionally when I'm somewhere that I like a lot and just be like, hey guys, I'm here. I'm getting this. Just wanted to share. So like I may do some of that when I have time and think about it, because
It's
I
gonna be
do
good
really want to
times.
share with you guys, because it's going to be such a fun time.
I will say, make sure if you are going to be in the city with us, make sure that you're on our Patreon, at least as a free member, articulatecoven.com/join, or join the Facebook group. We'll set up a messenger group, or we'll set up some live posts on Patreon so that we can coordinate events and make sure everybody knows where we're going to be while we're down there together. What else? Next week, we're going to be talking about other vampire fiction that Ashley and I are big fans of. We've got some other series to maybe point you in the direction of, or if you've got some series that you'd like us to mention, or see if we've talked about it before,
or
give
recommend
us some feedback this week.
Recommend,
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
as I'm sitting down to do this, I'm like, I've been a real bitch about my favorite vampires. Sometimes I'm kind of judgmental about other vampires. So maybe I need someone to guide me into some good directions of more vampires I can enjoy. In the meantime, I'm going to watch some True Blood this week and see how that is.
Here's the thing that occurs to me, Ashley, is it's sort of like music, right? Like, I found all sorts of great music when I was a young person, and now I am an old person, and I don't really find new music as a general rule,
It's
right?
true.
I enjoy that music that I found once upon a time. I'm not out there searching.
Slaps.
Yeah, right. Let's just dance with the ones that brung us, I guess. So anyway, make sure that your favorite is mentioned next week. Give us some feedback this week, and we'll have that episode coming up soon. Until we talk to you the next time, we have been your hosts. I'm Joel.
Ashley.
And we are the Articulate Coven.
Thank you for sharing this time with the Articulate Coven. Support the show as either a free or paid member at articulatecoven.com/join. You can also find us on YouTube, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Find more from the Coven with our sister show, Flan Again, covering the works of Mike Flanagan.